everyone, Kirsten Hickman here, senior editor at Eat This Not That, and today, in our final video in our mini holiday cooking series, we are going to make a very special treat, a wintry cocktail. Now this specific cocktail, which is called a St. Nick's Nightcap, was specifically developed for us by Taylor Arnold, a New York City bartender. He's also the mastermind behind Don't Forget the Garnish, an Instagram and blog dedicated to all his original cocktail creations, with, of course, a garnish on each one. Now, I could show you how to make this cocktail by myself, but I figured it would be a lot more special to have Taylor show us how to make it. So I have Taylor here with us. Hi, Taylor.
Hi, Kirsten. Excited to be here with you all.
Me too. This is going to be so fun. I cannot wait. I have all sorts of delicious goodies here, and I'm really excited to have a drink.
Me too.
All right, first, before we get started on the cocktail, I'm going to ask you a few questions so everyone can get to know you. So, how long have you been bartending?
I have been bartending for a little over 5 years now.
Wow. And why did you decide to start Don't Forget the Garnish?
I decided to start Don't Forget the Garnish for a few reasons. One, I was extremely bored in quarantine when it first began. Two, I wanted to develop my skills a little better and to make sure that I was staying on top of my game throughout quarantine. And then it kind of just became this fun thing where I just started experimenting with new cocktail ideas and then it became pretty popular.
All right, I have 3 rapid fire questions for you. So tell me the first thing that pops into your head when I ask you these questions. The first one is, what's your favorite cocktail?
Boulevardier.
Okay. And what is your favorite liqueur?
Oh.
These are rapid fire questions, Taylor.
There's so many. Chartreuse.
Okay. And what's your favorite drinking glass?
Ooh, Nick and Nora.
Okay.
Okay, so for the St. Nick's Nightcap, you're gonna need 4 sage leaves. 3 are gonna go in, 1 is the garnish. And then you're gonna want a 1/4 ounce of honey syrup, which we'll explain how to make in a little bit. A 1/4 ounce of a fruit brandy, preferably pear or apple. And then 1.5 ounces of gin. I'm using a London gin just because they're a little bit more junipery, which to me tasted more like Christmas. And then you want 3/4 ounce of Cointreau, which is essentially just a triple sec, but this triple sec has one of the lowest sugar contents out of all of the triple secs. So that's why we're using Cointreau, plus it's a phenomenal taste. And then you are going to need 1/2 ounce of fresh pomegranate juice. I'm gonna cut up a pomegranate and use real pomegranate seeds, but you could also just use like wonderful pomegranate juice if you don't want to do that. And then you're going to need a 1/4 ounce of lemon juice. And I think that's it.
Awesome. Okay, and how about equipment? What are the things we're going to need to actually make the cocktail?
Sure. So first off, you're going to want a cocktail shaker. If you don't have a cocktail shaker, you can totally still make this. Just use a mason jar for your shaker. A jigger, something to measure. Muddler, to muddle the sage and to muddle the pomegranates. And then you'll want a cutting board, obviously, because we're gonna cut some stuff. And then you'll also want a citrus press to get out that lemon juice that we're gonna need because we use fresh fruit here. And then you will want a strainer to pour it out. If you have it, I use a method called double straining, which I use like a fine mesh strainer. I use both, but totally optional, but you'll see me use it and that's why. If you don't have a strainer and you're using a mason jar, you can use a fork and to kind of hold the contents back and then pour it through the fork. And then a glass, obviously. I'm gonna use a coupe glass for this, which looks like this. And then ice. Obviously we're gonna need some ice.
All right, awesome. Once you guys have all of your ingredients, Taylor, what's the first thing that we should do?
So to start off, we're gonna need honey syrup. Now, to make honey syrup, it's so incredibly easy. Just grab a mason jar, and then you're gonna add 2 parts honey to 1 part water. So like use 1/2 cup of honey, and then use 1/4 cup of warm water.
I just put the honey in, right?
just close it up and then shake it really hard so that the syrup and the water all mix well together.
It looks like this. Is it good?
Yes, that is what you want. The next thing we want to do is we're just going to prepare our pomegranate juice into your shaker. But we're going to cut this up. I just cut off each end and then draw grooves from the center all the way down, and I make wedges like that. So once I have it cut open, I'm just going to kind of peel all the wedges that I have open. Get a bunch of pomegranate seeds in this new glass so that we can muddle them and get some fresh pom juice. All right, so now that we have some pomegranates, you're going to take your muddler or the back of your wooden spoon, and you're just going to muddle these to get some juice. You're going to want 1/2 ounce of the pomegranate juice, and then next we're going to get lemon juice in there. Obviously, if you have a citrus press, just put it in your citrus press and get 1/4 ounce or 1/2 tablespoon. I just want to express the importance of measuring everything every time you make a cocktail. If you just get one thing from this cocktail, measure. All right, and then the next step is we're going to use our sage. So we just want to take 3 sage leaves and drop them into our cocktail shaker. So we're going to just gently muddle, gently, just to get those aromas to come out, the 3 sage leaves. And we're going to use 3/4 ounce Cointreau. So let's put the honey syrup in now. And for this, we're just going to use 1 teaspoon. All right, next we're going to use our brandy. So I think this tastes the best with pear brandy. So with our brandy, we're going to use only 1/4 ounce because this guy is strong. And then we're ready for our gin. Now, when I was making this cocktail, I did want to make it accessible to everybody. And I know I'm using like 3 ingredients, but I saw so many Christmas cocktails that just use vodka and then you like rim the glass and like frosting, and there's so many of those really sugary Christmas cocktails. And I wanted to really make one like, you know that Bill Murray Netflix special, Christmas special?
Yes.
I like picture him sipping on this like near the piano, like a classy Christmas cocktail, like something that's, you know, sophisticated, a little complex. So that's why we're using so many ingredients. So it's going to be worth it, I promise.
I'm excited, and I'm always into a classy cocktail. It makes me feel classy.
100%, I totally agree with you. And you're going to use 1.5 ounces. Now that we have everything in here, we're going to add ice. Now I'm just going to use my regular freezer ice. I'm assuming you'll do the same. So we're going to shake less, but you want to shake relatively hard. Again, remember, we don't want to hurt the sage too much that's in there. So we're going to use kind of a medium shake, and we want for about 8 to 10 seconds or until your hands get really cold because the outside starts to freeze. If you're using a mason jar, it's going to take a little bit longer because the glass retains a little bit of heat. So you'll need to shake. I wouldn't wait for the glass to feel cold in a mason jar, but you might want to shake for like 14 seconds to kind of help compete against the heat of the glass. Especially since we're serving this cocktail up, which just means chilled without ice. It's very important that we get this cocktail to a really cold temperature so that it stays cold for the duration of the enjoyment of it. I like to smell it. Like you can smell the sage, the pear.
That smells amazing.
So let's grab our little coupe or whatever glass you're going to use. All right, again, I'm going to double strain It's going to prevent ice chips that you don't want in there. It's going to prevent any like pomegranate pulp that we had in there or lemon pulp, but it's not necessary. I just think it looks a little cleaner. And then for our garnish, because obviously I'm never gonna forget the garnish, you want to take one sage leaf, a nice pretty looking sage leaf. And just like we would do with mint, to get those aromas to really come out of the leaf, like you can smell a little bit right now, but if you put it in your hand and then you just give it a little smackarooski like that, it's gonna really release those aromas, and that's what we want. And then just gently take it and place it right on top, and it's just gonna float. And that is your classy, sophisticated St. Nick's Nightcap. I picture St. Nick just getting home after a long night of delivering presents, and Mrs. Claus is like, come here, like the fireplace is going, the bathtub is running, and they're just sipping on 2 of these after like a 24-hour workday, you know what I mean?
With Bill Murray, of course.
With Bill Murray, by a piano. All right, cheers, Kirsten.
Cheers. Wow, and it's low in sugar, so you guys can feel really good about how this cocktail has all these kinds of delicious flavors in it, but you don't have to worry about the calories, the sugar count, because it's specifically made to have all the flavors you love without having all those added sugars. All right, everyone, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this St. Nick's Nightcap this holiday season. Thanks so much, Taylor. Cheers.
Cheers, Kirsten. Cheers, everybody.
Have a wonderful holiday season, everyone. Bye.
Bye, happy holidays.